So welcome everyone, welcome to the PLC for all you new arrivals. If you really kind of want to come out of the matrix and you're in the right place. This is really a new sort of frontier, and we're setting up this lovely holistic society around the world. And so there's loads of new opportunities for people to bring their skills, talents, vocations, visions, frequencies into the mix, and co-create some wonderful things. So positive living communities is basically we will help people build hubs around the world. We've got all these different benefits. Essentially, it's a holistic template where you have a community hub, you have a health hub, you have an enterprise hub, a lawful hub, and a resources hub, all in one big juicy PLC hub. So there's all sorts of different aspects to it. Essentially, what it is, it's an area that you set up either indoors or outdoors. It could be in one building, in one room, like a community hall, or it can be in several buildings, or even tents if you want to set it up in a field, maybe when the weather's better. So yeah, and within that are those 5 hubs, and really you're at the center of that. So all these hubs work for you. They help you to find your vocation. They can help you with health advice and community advice, also resources that we share with people, and lawful advice as well to help you resist those unlawful claims, etc. So yeah, essentially we've got various packages or various kind of ways of doing things. We use Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a good way of looking at that sort of whole human and what a human needs effectively. And then to help people kind of uncouple from the kind of the matrix, the slavery matrix, and find their own kind of vocation, we use Ikigai, which is a sort of Japanese philosophy. And really, it's essentially 4 questions that we ask people to answer. And from those answers, hopefully, we can find a sort of cluster or role or a true life calling that they can get paid for and that they love to do and that they're good at. And also look, the world needs. So, also there's other resources such as the learning journeys and various other supplementary kind of data as well. So yeah, we do calls each week. This week it's the public calls. Next week it's the members calls. So it's lovely to have you join us. Yeah, we offer advice, basically how to get your hubs together, particular issues, etc., with the members, and also for people who are just coming into to this sort of holistic alternative way of living. We kind of help people and guide them to understand what that's all about, really, because it's lots of new terms, lots of new concepts. And so yeah, coaching and advice for people coming out of the matrix into that sort of holistic society, and coaching and advice for people who already got their hubs up and running and are doing a marvelous job, and may need some support and advice on certain issues like team dynamics, etc., or mindset shifts and things like that. So or even how to run the hub in ways that are more kind of supportive for each member. So part of that, we've got the 2 learning journeys. We've got the one for the individual, to help them come out of suffering. It's really finding your own freedom. I put a chap there with a silver suit and a foil hat, just to emphasize he's owning his freedom, and he's strolling across the street in his golden bubble of light, fully in charge of his life and living the dream. This is really it's jovial cover, but actually it's quite serious. It's actually helping a lot of people to come out of the suffering that they're in, or the situations that they're in that are causing them suffering. And a lot of that is a psychological issue or a circumstance issue. And so it's really important to help people find their own resilience and empowerment, really. So that's that learning journey for the individual. But also we've got one for the community as well. So if you want to co-create a community of people how can you do that on a harmonic level, on a loving, kind, unity consciousness level, with because obviously there's lots of dynamics with different people involved, and that's really good as well because it helps you to sort of find that common thread that unites you all, and help you to build your communities together. So and become more resilient and more resourceful and have more options. So those two journeys are really good if you want to go through those. Those are great. We give advice and coaching on those as well. So really, yeah, this is actually extending each month. Really, we've got more and more people who we're finding are similar-minded, community groups, holistic groups, just getting on with it really. And we're affiliated with the People's Food and Farming Alliance, the People's Health Alliance. We're also food ambassador for Food Finders Hub UK. I also run Stand in the Park as well, so we're linked with Stand in the Park. We've got Free Energy Nationwide, which is brilliant. They help to replace meters and things like that. And then, so we've got Nourish Network as well. They grow food and support their community with the food. We've got Star Teachings Protocol. That's my other website. And we've got Inspirations PLG, which is the lovely Jackie White's group, Positive Living group. And we've also got the Blandford Community, Holistic Community group there as well. And that's just a local holistic group. Lovely group there. And there's many more, around the world. I've just put this up just to kind of give you an idea that we're sort of interconnecting with loads of different groups and networks, and they're all kind of really positive and really actually making a difference, and not kind of, really being part of the old ways that control and full of hierarchy and all those horrible things. So yeah, as part of that, we offer a hub starter kit for people who join PLC. It's literally from scratch. What do you do to create a hub, a local community hub in your area with your community? Literally, if you have no idea, this is a good starter kit because it helps you from dot to do sort of various practical things to get your group of people together and start, forming an idea of what you want to do. So that's just been released, and we've also got the Hub Starter Kit 2. 3-month members, you get a Hub Starter Kit 2, so that's a bit more detail about. That's once you've got your group together and you're meeting regularly, what sort of things can you do? So group activities, and various other things. I don't want to give it all away, so you'll have to become a member to see what it's all about. And we're just actually, I'm working on Hub Starter Kit 3, which is for the 6-month members as well, because then there's a sort of progression really as you gather your tribe, and that develops. You also kind of have to take on more different kind of dynamics really, and so that's helping with that. So yeah, this is like the hand of love poking its way out towards you through the horrible slavery matrix of material world of lots of NPCs and lots of narcissists and all those horrible people. We're reaching out to you and saying there's a brilliant community of loving, kind, expanded consciousness people who are really just getting on with it and trying to be conscious about what they're doing, and just trying to make things better for themselves and other people. So please, it would be such a joy to have you as members and help you out. So please have a look at the website and see if you'd like to become a member. How's everyone? How's your week, Jane? How's your week, Shriva? Shall we start with Jane, the main, the host, yes. I don't know what. I don't want to get in trouble by
the
saying one way or
hostess with the mostest.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
You said it.
It was a good week. We had our barbecue on Saturday evening, on Midsummer evening, and that was lovely. There were 8 of us, and no, it was just a lovely evening. So yeah, good company, just chatting about all sorts of stuff and keeping it high vibe.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's quite nice actually that I was thinking about what you're doing down in Cornwall, and you're kind of making a soft hub in a way. You're, you're not doing the hard subscription sell press ganging, which is good, which is right, because but you're also kind of like imbuing the flavour to the people that do turn up. I love it. It's kind of like by stealth. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
holisticism, whatever you call it, by stealth. So, um, and what's nice about that is that people get an idea of the vibe, because they'll be going back and talking to other people, and they'll be saying, "Oh, I was at this really nice gathering. It was to do with positive living group. No, no heavy sell. Really nice bunch of people. I wouldn't mind doing that again." So, and
Yeah.
that's how it should be, because it's really down to the connections that people make, and you can't, I can't speak for anyone else apart from myself. So it's down to those individuals, and their kind of abilities to make friends and have resources and I actually drew. I don't know who's going to turn up on this, but this is recorded, so and people can have it as an attachment if they want. But I've got, when I did the PLC, I had the template in mind, but and I knew it was sacred geometry, so I knew that things would springboard off of that. And because I'm also a time traveler, I can see things over time as well as go to that time and see what's happened since, sort of thing. And I thought a really good experiment to do for people is to speed up their lives. So if you could take, say, a typical day or a typical week and then speed it up really quickly, because then you'll see your cycles of what you're doing. You'll see where you go regularly and back, what you do in the day and back, to and what happens is if you speed up your actions in your average day and what you do in, say, your average week, you can see things like loops. You can see things. Loops basically mean you're not making any progress. You're not changing or evolving. So an example of that would be a job, because you'd be doing the same routine, same pattern. Maybe if you've got a career, advance, then that would change the loop, but effectively. So I'm hoping people can kind of speed up their lives and take, say, an average day, and then kind of like do it in, 5 times the speed, and see what you do and where you go and your habits as well. And then in that process of looking at your life sped up, but looking at the things that you're doing already in your average day and your average week, you'll get to see whether you're making any progress or whether you're just in these loops. And what's quite nice is that you can see that there are some people who are constantly doing the same loops. They feel comfort in that, but they're not making any progress. They're not evolving as a person. But then you can also see people who do loops, but the loops evolve into bigger loops. They adapt and they change, because they're making progress. They're doing slightly different things each week or each month, etc. They're learning new things and stuff like that. So yeah, one exercise for seeing whether you're making progress in your life or whether you are kind of just treading water effectively is to speed up your life. Imagine your life being sped up, and then you can see whether what you're doing is just going to be repeating itself for the rest of your life, or whether you're going to be repeating some loops but evolving them and progressing. So that's one like exercise I thought that was really good. But yeah, bringing it back to time. I when I did the PLC, I saw it over a progression of time. So it wasn't just the initial kind of like landing and setup. It was how it evolves and grows. And I've done a kind of quick picture which you can send to Shraver Singh. Shraver's the only one on the call, and you've already got the picture. It's basically this, which is a progression from 3D to 5D, or expanded consciousness. And what you've got in the beginning, I'll read it out to you on this side. You've got things like...
Would you like me to share screen?
Yes, please. Yeah. You've got the individual who comes to the PLC, and we've had this, and I know there are thousands, if not millions of people like this at the moment, who feel isolated effectively. So yeah, they're feeling isolated, they're in doubt, and they've got fear, they've got uncertainty, they're vulnerable, and they're depressed. That's what the 3D system kind of, they're in that sort of victim mode, or they're in that doubt mode and anxiety. They don't know what the future holds, kind of thing. And those kind of people feel really lonely and depressed, as we know, because we've had members who have been like that. And since joining PLC, and I'm trying not to blow my trumpet because it's not about me, it's about all of us supporting each other. And by finding us, they've come out of their shell a bit more. They've found a lovely bunch of people, and they've become a bit more kind of they're coming out of that kind of mire, if you like. So what happens is you've got an individual, they join a group. Now, if it's a holistic group or a group like ours, they'll get loads of support. There's no sort of ideologies or sort of religions or indoctrinations, or if it's a really good group, it's just a bunch of people with their own views, but don't kind of like bring the politics or the religion into it. They just want to talk about things that unite each other and the common unity. And then you've got with that, so when you meet a group, say like a holistic group like PLC, you've got support, you've got resilience, you've got positivity, and in that process, there's three things. There's the healing, which is that people come with issues, etc. We've got a terrible health service at the moment, and also a lot of other issues that may not necessarily need medicine, but may need some other therapies. And then you've got the education, which is basically kind of helping people understand where they're at, the context of the 3D, the slavery system, the matrix, the control, the perception management. And in that sort of education, you've got, there's a wider perception of reality. There's a wider options that you've got. There's more, there's more options and opportunities rather than the limited ones in the 3D. So when you meet a group like ours, hopefully they'll be able to help heal and support you. They'll be able to help educate and help you shift your mindset into a more expanded kind of vision of the future for yourself. And then, help you kind of get back on your feet and empower you. And then one of the lovely things about once you're in a group of people, you've got things like extended options. So, bunches of whole groups can have services, friendship and support, resources, resilience, abundance. I was thinking about it. Since just Vicky up the road is doing her PLC garden, and I've helped her a bit with that, just with some equipment and seeds and stuff. But she's now growing, as you guys are as well. That lovely picture of the Loganberries. You can send them to me in the post if you like. Speed delivery. So, but this I'm talking about. I'm going to bring it back, talking about the wider thing about the progression over time. So what happens is basically you've got an individual joins up with a group like ours, gets more support, empowerment, resilience, becomes part of the group, has their own talents and skills, contributes to the group. The group has a whole bunch of services, skills, and everything. And in that way, you've got more resilience, more support, more resources, and it's a no-brainer. And there's things like on the other side of 3D, in 5D, there's things like cures. There's the cures for Alzheimer, the cures for dementia, the cures for cancer, and stuff like that. And it's only that divide, that psychological divide in the individual, that's stopping them finding them or getting some remedy. There's growth, there's joy, there's love, well-being, You know, there's absolutely bucket loads on the other side once people make that positive mindset shift, really. And that's what's so important. You can see that progression over time as well, because let's just take the PLC now. Say you've got Christine and you and me and Shareva, and we're growing produce, say, for example. Say in harvest time, we'll have a bounty of stuff that we've gleaned from our gardens and stuff like this. But say, just to say a bit further along, each one of us has got a hub. You know, we can all start bringing that fruit, food and produce into that hub and then sharing it with each other as well. And then there's no cost whatsoever. You didn't have to go to a supermarket. You probably got better quality produce. You know, there's so that's just on the food thing. On the other thing with developing a group, you know, you can develop services and stuff like that, health services, engineering services and project services, finance, enterprise services. So, you know, coming together in a group, um, in a holistic group, with expanded kind of thinking about the future Earth and well-being, is really, really, you know, a good thing. It's very positive and very good for your health. It extends your life. You have more mates. You know, I can't emphasize this enough. It's, you know, it's one of those brilliant kind of endeavors that it's just an upward spiral, because actually what you're doing is you're gaining more and more people and more resources and energy, and you can have more opportunities and more, you know, abundance basically with more and more people. And so that's what I love about PLC. Over time, it's going to grow that wonderful way in which, you know, these hubs are starting off, maybe soft hubs, but then people sort of start collecting in those, and then their resources start growing and their options start growing. And it also means that they're decoupling, they're uncoupling from the 3D matrix. They're no longer going to the supermarket to buy eggs. They're no longer buying herbs from the supermarket. Whatever it is, it's a removal of expenditure, if you like, over time. So yeah, so that is, you know, I can, but there's so much more to this as well. For example, there's the men's healing circles and the women's healing circles that will go to do with the either the community section or the health section. But what happens with that is once you've got these, say, women's circles and men's circles, you've got empowered groups of men and women, and they can then reinforce that sacred space, that sacred supportive space that each hub creates. So even that's a progression on the healing, on the male and the female healing side. And then, you know, that's also at the end of that, that's giving people a role where they feel, you know, valued and worth. So even on that social thread of healing and individuals, there's empowerment at the end of that as well, you know. So there's loads of different kind of threads, you know, like I talk about the cross pollination between the healing hub and the community. You can get people recommended to go into healing gardens or contemplation gardens or community growing gardens and get into the earth and get into a community that way. But equally, you've got people growing produce that can then go into the health hubs to then go into things like medicines and treatments. So there's, you know, there's all these lovely kind of threads that are kind of expansive um, over time. So, and that's what I see with PLC. I see it a gentle kind of spreading out and then gathering more people, and then, you know, the other things come like space where you can have a hub, services where you can, you know, help people and stuff. So, and we've been there from the beginning, and it's lovely because the right, I know. Do you know what I mean? The funny thing is, the right people have wanted to join. I haven't said to anyone really at all, come along and join, because I've said, hey, this is what we do. If you like what we do, come and join us. And I know that the right people would, who've done their kind of legwork or the mental work, you know, going through the system and want something different. I know that they'll resonate with this, you know. So like Tori did, you know, she said, this is really great. So anyway, that's about me waffling. How's your week, Shareva? Sorry, I didn't get round to ask.
Um, Good. I've been teaching my silks class. So I am now gaining confidence as an instructor. Two of the women have asked to take private lessons with me. And
Yay!
I didn't even like advertise that that's something I do. They're like, "Hey, do you teach privates? I could really use some extra time on the silks." I'm like, "Sure."
Confirmation that your teaching skills are, coming on, eh?
Right. They're confident that I can help them. Um, I've decided to sell my chickens because the predator has been back, and
Oh,
yeah, so that's better to get them to a home where they can keep them safe than to watch them all get killed again. So, yeah. What else? I'm in a production, and we're getting into some busy rehearsals. So that's good because I get to make costumes and buy wigs
oh,
and do
cool,
fun things like that.
excellent.
So,
When
yeah.
when's that? Uh, when's that
The
ready?
11th and the 12th, I have a production, and we'll do another one the following month, just as a one-off. And I have some photo shoots coming up where I have to put mermaid wigs on and be pretty. So I'm a little nervous about that.
You'll be brilliant. Just think of yourself as a secret rock star.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
undercover rock star. It works. It works a treat because then you're like,
Gotcha.
in your element, and you don't give a monkey's what
Right.
people
Be
think.
confident. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. They wouldn't be asking to take photographs of you if you weren't good enough to be there. Do you see what I mean?
Not so sure about that with the mermaiding stuff. But that's okay. We'll get her good photos, which will get her more work for her business. Yeah.
Cool. Well, so well, actually, in some ways, if selling the chickens, um, it may seem disappointing, but being able to adapt to situations that aren't serving you is really important. Because otherwise, if you're not, you're in resistance, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're
It's a
trying to,
loop.
yeah,
I've been through this cycle too many. The last batch, I got them to 4.5 months. Right before they started laying, they got destroyed. And these are at 4 months old. So I'm like, okay,
good.
don't
You're
do this
changing
again.
that loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, good luck with the production, and I hope you manage to sell the other. How many chickens have you got left to sell?
I think I have 5 left. So I sold one, which means I had 6 left out of 24 that I
Well,
had 2 months ago. Hmm.
at least
Yeah.
one of them's going to stay alive because it's with an owner. You've beaten the last loop. So,
Yeah. Okay.
thanks, Reva. Justina, are you around? Are you ironing in a uncompromising position, playing cards? What? No, maybe not at the screen. Then that's okay. That's fine. Hey, you
I'm
don't have
I'm
to talk.
okay.
Oh, hey, oh, we got some sound. Hey, we've got a vision.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much. I just sorry for the late, but I think I catch everything. The most important. Congratulations, Chereva, to be a mermaid. Yeah, cool. Um, yeah, around me, very upside down personal stuff. The social life very uh crumble. So it's actually perfect time when you said the group, the 5D group. I think I'm gonna join soon for a longer time, not just
Hey.
yeah. I was thinking
Woohoo.
and I just forgot and just everyone send me F off from my like
Oh, really?
friends. So yeah, that kind of stuff. But I just finished my painting for the lovely person and yeah, it's good.
Do you
It's
have it?
going good.
Do you have it to hand? Can you spin the camera around or bring? Woohoo!
Yeah, it's just
Hey.
that personal soul.
Oh, I
Yeah, it's
like the
in.
goldy bits. They're nice.
Yeah, it's sparkle. Always need to have a sparkle. Let's just open the
So
bad
you,
boy.
so have you sold that to a customer
Yes.
Fabulous. Brilliant. Excellent.
Yeah,
That's lovely. That's really refreshing and kind of
thank
vibrant. I
you.
like that. It's got a lot of energy in that. It's nice. Light
Thank you.
energy,
Yeah,
not heavy energy.
yeah, it was very, very, very joyful to make and to connect with the person higher self. Was beautiful meditation, and yeah, that's how I'm creating the paintings with the flow of soul. So lovely.
Good. I mean, this is it.
Just
It's
Justina, so I follow you on Instagram. I haven't seen too much from you. I would love for you to do a little video describing your process because that all of a sudden gives your artwork so much more meaning and beauty.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that's really important that you and your process is as featured as the visual art.
yeah.
I, I
Maybe,
agree.
maybe because it's just growing every week, something changed, and I just add some more stuff like infused crystals on sulfigo frequency, solfeggio.
Arpeggio.
Yes, yes, my Ponglish. It's
It's Italian
very unique.
word.
Okay.
And Justina, you are beautiful. The camera likes you, so you would help sell your art because you are enjoyable to watch, you know?
First, I need to sell my face.
Yeah, no, your face is perfect.
I don't think that'll need
Fine.
much selling, personally.
And every time you add something in that's new, you make another video.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
really think that's a good idea, actually. Well done. Because, people like to know the person behind the content, and
Okay.
actually, it's a way, that's a really good one, Shreva, because it's a way of you defining your style, your way of doing things. So then no one can copy that because you put that out as a
Yeah.
recorded, and then you got there first and you did it best, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
already one copycat. Can you imagine just when I'm selling this art, I'm selling in a like a etheric shop, and just right next the door, it's just like a, crystal shop, and right next the door, another person open shop with kind of Ouija board and this
Oh.
kind of voodoo stuff.
Mm.
Very bad energy from them. And just day after, I put my artworks on Instagram, like I'm doing light codes, she doing light code next day. So it's a bit like way, but it's all about the frequency energy. I'm aware of that, but what she gonna have a massive flashback
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah. This is exactly. Marie talks about this. Where there's light, darkness tries to surround it and snuff it out. So it's confirmation in one way that your light is attracting these sort of lower frequencies that are jealous and want to kind of snuff it out or copy it and mimic it. But obviously, because you're there first and you've established that light in that area, it's not gonna work. Whatever you do, just don't be affected by it. Just do what
Yeah.
you have to do and
Sometimes
shine.
you
Yeah.
sometimes you think that evil are smart, but this is so just stupid and pathetic what they do. Just literally like a primary school, but this is all playground. So I think it's also time for me, kind of, the inner child work,
Yeah. I mean,
this kind
evil.
of stuff.
The one thing about evil is its weakness, is its arrogance.
Yeah,
It believes that it can do everything better and faster, and but then fails because of that mindset. So you don't have to even entangle energetically
yeah.
with that, because that will crumble on itself. That will pull itself in, and
Hmm.
you just do your thing and shine, and carry on. Yeah, but that's good. Actually, in some ways, it's a good sign of your power, your growing light, and the fact that other people are trying to copy that around you. So yeah, so that's good. It shows you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, yeah. And she really wanted me in a shop, but I was for half year with that first lady Tracy yeah, because Tracy knew that the other person is a copycat so bad, but it's good. I
Yeah.
don't want that woman anymore in my life.
Two
Well,
thoughts. One is evil doesn't have that creative spark, so they have to copy. They
Yeah.
have to steal somebody else's creativity. And second, that could actually be another video, Instagram, videoing your
Mm.
work and then the copycat and pointing that out. Not that you want to draw attention to this person, you don't, but I'm saying, you
Yeah.
have the power. You're the storyteller.
Yeah. True. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that would be interesting. Especially maybe now I was, worried that I tried to make my account a bit. I tried to separate my work and my creative spirituality, vibe, like separate. But I think now when my people from my work actually, they're not my people, and nothing to lose anymore.
This
I'm
is the
not bothered what they
quarantine.
think.
Yeah, I mean, as you go up, you can't bring people with you. And also,
Yeah,
if you try to, they won't want to go with you. They won't want to entertain what you're discovering. So there's that necessary. It doesn't mean that you have to cut people off dead. You just love them
yeah,
from a distance, and less energy entanglements, basically. And
yeah,
then they no longer kind of feature in your life and cause that stress or whatever. So yeah, but
yeah,
on the other side of that quarantine is all of us. Look,
yeah, exactly.
yay! So
I joined the mafia.
yeah, the holistic mafia.
Exactly.
You will have a better life.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think I was just, protect myself from their opinion, and because it will be attack. I know that's gonna happen. But it's just when you have the confidence and when you know what you're doing, it's just okay, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. When you realize actually that you're shaping and creating your reality, you can realize that you can cut out things that you don't want in that reality, and actually you're not entangled in the emotion of what they think
Yeah.
or how they can affect you because you're just doing your thing. So yeah, cool. Thanks, Justina. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Hi, Christine. How are you?
Unmute, that helps. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm just sort of running around and doing 50,000 things as usual. Back on track.
I can tell. I mean, that video is amazing.
I'm board beans. I'm getting ready for dinner. I've just whipped out to pick a potato or two. So I have those at the house.
Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you for the video. And I had a baby chick today.
Hey, one goes to a
Yeah.
home and one gets born. There you go.
Exactly. It's a beautiful little thing, really golden. I'm waiting to see what colour it comes out. So, yeah.
That's good. I mean, as well, it's showing that life is enjoying your space as well if it's procreating, and.
Absolutely. Do you know what? Everything's just growing abundantly. I mean, I've been picking red currants. I've got enough for jam now on my white currants. I've got enough. One lot of picking was the three different colours, so that'll be a mixed jam. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got to learn canning next.
Oh yeah.
There's a cookery school round here. I think I better tap into them and find out how.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because
Yeah.
actually, you know what? It would be so cool if you guys could make stuff that could then be stored, and then we could, shift it to any member wherever, around the world,
Yeah.
theoretically.
Ah, talking of which, I've been meaning to ask you, do you know of Dreamer's Farm? It's in Dorset.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
They
Dream.
do raw milk and cream and all sorts of products.
Okay, I'll look
So
them up.
let me just go and grab a thingy and I'll
Yeah,
get the address.
great. There's a thing called lactoferrase, ferrous, and that's been bred out of cows since the Rothschilds took over. So
It,
we're all deficient in that.
okay, it's Gillingham.
Oh, okay, Gillingham,
Yeah.
and it's called Dreamers.
Yeah, it's dreamersfarm.co.uk.
Cool.
Well, I know somebody's been collecting it and bringing it over to Bradford on Avon. And they've been selling it. So I've had yogurt, raw butter, well, raw milk, butter, kefir. They do all the products.
Great.
And what's the other? Ghee. They do
Oh,
as
right. Yeah. Clarified butter. Nice.
so it's all good. I don't need them on for this.
And actually, as well, that kind of milk prevents autism and reduces it as well. So it pulls out all the aluminium and barium, etc., in the brain that's deposited on the brain. So that's again, like I was talking about earlier before. There's an attachment. If you arrive late, there's a little attachment for this recording where I go into the progression of
Okay.
PLC. And on the other side of that, from the 3D to the 5D, when you join the sort of holistic group that are in search of the truth, you find the cures. You've got the cures: fenbendazole, metbendazole, ivermectin, all these sort of cures for Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
stuff. And that's because we're no longer kind of programmed, and we have researched and found the actual remedies. So that's another kind of plus point to PLC, that we're sharing this actual truthful information rather than these psychological operations and programs.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing that with group collective intelligence, which I was talking about last week, each person fills up with more information, is empowered because they've got more resources, more people talking to them and sharing what they know and stuff like that. So these are all brilliant kind of things that come the part of the abundance, but this is on the kind of wider picture of it all. This is all the new technology, which is really ancient, but this is all the new technology coming through about consciousness and what we can do as a collective and stuff like that.
Well, interesting. I went to a farm shop today just because I wanted a few bits, because I've got an abundance of eggs. So quiche's going to be in the oven later. I got that to do, so another late night. But I stopped and had a coffee, and I sat next to a gentleman, and we had a really interesting conversation. He was down here meeting his parents at this local place, and he lives in it is in Dorset, Wimborne.
Oh, okay, that's nearby. Yeah.
Yep. Now, he's a pilot,
Okay.
and he'd had two of the jabs. And we got taught, I know, when he realised, and his daughters have been jabbed as well, and he's really gutted over that. So anyway, I just sort of gave him some info and told him, I told him about Tess Lorry, actually. I just thought, I'll hand it that way, and I think he was not quite sure where it was with Trump and whatnot. So I just said to him, well, I don't watch the mainstream, I said firstly, but if I was to suggest anything, I would say go and look at the executive orders and look towards Klaus Schwab's book, Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Agenda 25 and 30. And so, I mean, we had a really good talk, actually. It was about, I don't know, half an hour while he was waiting for his parents to turn up. But yeah, and I also told him about the Sounds Beautiful festival that's on this weekend. So who knows whether he'll go or not. But yeah, it was really lovely to have that conversation, and it just sort of evolved because he said to me, had I had the jabs? And I said no, and he said he wished he hadn't.
Right.
But he's moved that way because the airline he works for have opened a new station, or whatever you call it, out of is it not Southampton? Where's close? Bournemouth.
Oh, okay.
Going out of Bournemouth. So
Bournemouth Airport.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's looking in and around that area for a nice home. And he's moved down from Scotland. So,
Right.
and I think his name's Simon. So if you come across anybody called Simon who's a pilot, you may meet him. You may
Okay,
meet
that would be
him.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Because well, yeah, if he would love someone like that to join the PLC, because they've got a progression as well. They can tell others.
I asked him, do we live on a flat earth?
Oh, I wondered if he would have probably said yes.
No, he didn't.
Good.
He said no. He said,
Wow.
if you could, no, he said, and I said, so is it round? And he said, I don't think it's round either. So it's kind of a flat round, donut shape. And I said, and I think, yes.
There's a thing called VOR signal,
Right.
and basically they only appear on the transponder of the plane after they've risen above the horizon.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't rise above the horizon on a flat plane.
Exactly.
And the reason they rise above the horizon is because we're on a ball. But anyway,
No,
that's
he
one.
baffled me. He baffled me with science, but it
Right.
made sense.
Yeah. Well, if you next time you have a conversation with it, say,
Oh, I
just,
doubt I will. It was a
oh,
chance
okay.
meeting.
Oh, I
No,
see. Right.
it was just a chance meeting.
Well, it's progress. At least you know he thinks it's maybe curved, so that's good. Trouble is, they don't even pilots don't fly high enough to see the curve properly, as well, because they only kind of range up to about
Something about
30,000 feet.
yeah, he did say something about the curve because he said, when you get to whatever height it was, because I mean he's on commercial planes, so when you get to whatever height, he said you can't you can't see, or you see it goes off, so you
Yeah.
can't see straight off. So he knew it wasn't flat, but yeah, baffled me with science, but I thought I had to ask, didn't I?
Did you ask him about chemtrails at all or contrails?
No, no, we didn't get that way because we kind of sidetracked then
Oh,
toward,
okay.
had I had the jab, and I said no, I wasn't going to be doing that, and all the others, and anyway, he said he'd had two, and his parents have, and his two daughters, bless him, and he wished he hadn't. Uh, but he did also say that he doesn't know anybody who's actually died from COVID. One person.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's where his common sense is coming through.
if you actually extrapolate the amount of people that they tried to jab, the whole world population, and then you give it a time scale in which they theoretically made all the jabs,
Yeah.
they couldn't possibly get to everyone. So a lot of them were saline things.
But this is something else he said because now on the AstraZeneca, he's followed through on the batch. And I can't remember whether it was given to him or his daughter or somebody, and he'd followed it through and they'd identified the batch.
Right.
So I didn't go into details. It was just, the conversation and where it went. So he's wise. But like I said, I mentioned Tess Laurie to him, and I said, because her book's just launched as well. And that's where I would go because it's more uh, good information.
Yeah.
And that, well, it's no good me saying anything because I don't have that skill. So
Well,
I
at least you've kind of prompted him to look in certain directions.
Mhm.
So, without you being there, he wouldn't have had that information. That's what's so nice, actually.
Yeah.
Each one of us has got a kind of a wealth of knowledge that we can just pinpoint certain things that people might need and then kind of like say, hey, have a look at this, but not kind of like force people to do stuff because we're
Well, I gate crashed his table because his table was sat in the best position. All the other tables were empty, but I went and sat there. So, stranger things, and it was meant to be.
exactly. Yeah, I just encourage everyone to do that as well. If you meet people and you can see or identify an issue in them that they want, that they may be saying that they want some sort of remedy or
Yeah.
just some sort of new way of looking or some new opportunity that they don't know of.
Yeah. Well,
So
he has a friend and he is having Reiki, so he's started down that route. Great.
right,
He looked, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he looked healthy enough and yeah. So, and I mean, I didn't know him at all, so I wasn't going to ask those personal questions.
yeah.
But
Bob Moran's going to be at the Sounds Beautiful Festival as well, so that'll be
okay.
good. Yeah, the
Bob Moran.
cartoonist guy who
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, so he's going to be
Okay.
there.
Are you going?
I don't think so. I have I haven't really looked it up, and how much it is and stuff. So,
Right. Well, if I remember rightly, they've reduced the price and it was 177 for the 4 days plus camping. So
okay,
I thought that's pretty good actually.
yeah.
But I don't know. There are other increments that you can do. And so
I've kind of got I'm kind of setting myself up for the Shine seminars.
yeah.
That's going to be a humdinger. So,
Mhm.
and I'm bringing the Portal of Joy and setting that up properly as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So
What date is that one? Because I know I've got it written somewhere.
the 6th to the 10th or something. It's 4 days. I probably
7th
said,
to the 10th
there we
of
go. So,
August. I'll put the PDF in the chat.
yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Um,
I have a
yeah.
note in chat. Hold on.
That's going to be so cool because that's literally a PLC on the ground. You know, all the different tents and stalls and wonderful people. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Yeah. So well, you know, this is more progress again. You know, we're doing brilliant stuff, everyone. We're just doing it naturally. It's no big deal, no fanfare. We're just spreading the love. We're just getting our acts together individually, and then helping empower others, um, which empowers ourselves. So you know, all really really good stuff, and no egos involved whatsoever. It's brilliant. It's lovely. It's so good. And I really enjoy this, weekly conversation because I know that it's more of my people, more tribe, more of the same. I know that I'm not alone and I know that I'm not crazy. If anything, it's kind of like, shows me that there are other people either just as crazy as me or just as sane as me, whatever way you want to call it. So I love it. It's brilliant. And I thank you all for it. And I just, I'm enjoying every little increment. I'm seeing what you're growing. I'm seeing, what you guys are doing in your lives. And, Justina, you're doing that Ikigai thing. You're getting an extra income and stuff like that. Everyone's progressing on little levels, and it's lovely. And it just, it's the right way of how I saw the whole thing. Everyone becoming more abundant. So yeah, great, good stuff, guys. Well, I say guys, it's all ladies on the call today. So well done, ladies. How are we doing for time? Are we
It's a 1:45.
okay? Well, did anyone want to kind of has anyone got anything else that they wanted to share, or because then otherwise I'll just wrap the call up. It's come to its sort of natural end. Well, all right then. Well, we have a lovely, brilliant. We've survived up to the solstice. The gates are open now. More abundance. Loads of people waking up. We can seed them with our lovely little 5D seeds, thought seeds, and we can help people, lots more people, because there's lots more of us doing it. So brilliant, good stuff. And yeah, carry on as you were. And I'll catch up with you guys next week. Lots of love.
Lovely. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Much love.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good week,
Bye.
everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.